How does the Indian Constitution guarantee the right against exploitation? Ans. Article 23 of the Constitution of India prohibits traffic in human being and begar and other similar forms of forced labor. The second part of this article declares that any contravention of this provision shall be an offence punishable in accordance with law. Clause 2, however, permits the state to impose compulsory services for public purposes provided that in making so it shall not make any discrimination on grounds only of religion, race, caste, or class or any of them. According to Article 24, no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment. Traffic in human beings means selling and buying men and women like goods, and includes immovable traffic in women and children for immoral or other purposes. Though slavery is not expressly mentioned in Article 23, it is included in the expression traffic in human being. Under Article 35 of the Constitution, Parliament is authorized to make laws for punishing acts prohibited by this article. In pursuance of this article, Parliament has passed the Suppression of Immoral Traffic in Women and Girls Act, 1956, for punishing acts which result in traffic in human beings. Article 23 protects the individual not only against the state but also private citizens. It imposes a positive obligation on the state to take steps to abolish evils of traffic in human beings and begar and other similar forms of forced labor wherever they are found. In People's Union for Democratic Rights v. Union of India, AIR 1980 to SC 1943, Supreme Court held that scope of Article 23 is wide and unlimited and strikes at traffic in human being and begar and other forms of forced labor wherever they are found. It is not merely begar which is prohibited by Article 23 but also all other forms of forced labor. Begar is a form of forced labor under which a person is compelled to work without receiving any remuneration. This article strikes at forced labor in whatever form it may manifest itself, because it is violative of human dignity and contrary to basic human values. The practice of forced labor is condemned in almost every international instrument dealing with human rights. Every form of forced labor, begar or other forms, is prohibited by Article 23, and it makes no difference whether the person who is forced to give his labor or service to another is paid remuneration or not. Even if remuneration is paid, labor or services supplied by a person would be hit by this article. If it is forced labor, e.g. labor supplied not willingly but as a result of force or compulsion. In Sanjit Roy v. State of Rajasthan, AIR 1983 SC 328, it has been held that the payment of wages lower than the minimum wages to the person employed on famine relief work is violative of Article 23. Whenever any labor or service is taken by the state from any person who is affected by drought and scarcity condition, the state cannot pay him less wage than the minimum wage on the ground that it is given them to help to meet famine situation. The state cannot take advantage of their helplessness. In Bandhu Mukti Morcha v. Union of India, AIR 1984 SC 802, the Supreme Court held that when an action is initiated in the court through public interest litigation alleging the existence of bonded labor, the government should welcome it, as it may give the government an opportunity to examine whether bonded labor system exists and as well as to take appropriate steps to eradicate that system. This is the constitutional obligation of the government under Article 23, which prohibits forced labor in any form.